Okay, so this is going to be a unique project. This is a cloud hosted lab where we have Active Directory monitoring and automated incident response. So we're going to have a bunch of VMs, 3 VMs that we're going to be hosting on the cloud, which is Azure. And there we're going to be detecting if some authorized person has logged in. From there, we'll be sending an alert on Slack, and then from that alert, the SOC analyst can decide whether or not to allow or disallow the user from entering the workspace. So yeah, let's get into it. And also, this project was mainly inspired by my DFIR. It's an amazing YouTube channel, tons of projects. So yeah, feel free to check it out. Alright, so first of all, we're just going to create an Azure account, and for students, we already have $100 of credit allocated to us, which should be enough for this project. No. We're just going to be creating a VM. As you can see, the region Canada Central does not allow me to host a VM in that region. So East US allows us to do that. So we're gonna set everything up according to East US. For our network security rules and our virtual network. So as you can see in our virtual machine, actually here in our virtual network, it is Canada Central. Make sure it is East US. This is when I did screw it up and I had to do the whole thing all over again. So make sure this region is East US. Yeah, here's a picture of my network security rules and my virtual network settings. This is where I was creating a virtual machine. I'm going to be creating one for Splunk using Ubuntu, and 2 Windows VM, one for the domain controller and one as a test machine. And I'm just creating deploying these virtual machines, so bear with me please.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday.
Okay, so basically once it's downloaded, in order to access the virtual machines for Windows, you can just copy the public IP address on the remote desktop connection, and for Splunk just enter the IP address along with the username. Here we're just downloading Splunk Enterprise, which is the SIEM that we're going to consolidate all the information into. Here we're downloading it, and then we're going to be installing it in just a minute. Yep, there we go. Okay, so this Splunk Enterprise that we're installing basically is going to be acting as our SIEM. What that means is that it's going to basically collect all the data from the different VMs, and then it's just going to be able to show us all the consolidated data that it has put in place from all those VMs. So it's going to gather all the data from the VMs, and then it's going to just show us. Okay, so we're just going to modify our network security rules so we can allow port 8000, so we can access our Splunk SIEM that's hosted on port 8000.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now,
we're just basically going to configure Splunk SIEM. We're basically going to be installing the Windows app mainly, and just tweaking it a bit. Okay, so up next we're going to be downloading Splunk Forwarder onto those Windows VM we want information from. So we have the SIEM that's on Splunk Enterprise, and for it to receive the data, we're going to have to forward it. And on our Windows VM, we're going to be installing Splunk Forwarder in order to forward that data onto the SIEM so it can collect the data and then show it to us. So as you can see, test machine has successfully able to send the data to the SIEM, and we're just going to do the same with our domain controller virtual machine. This was our test machine we did with, so now we're doing it with our domain controller and repeating the same thing again. Okay, so 4624 is the event ID name. Basically it's a code name for successful login. Authorized or unauthorized, we don't know, but it's successful login for sure. We're just going to be looking for login type 7 and 10. 7 meaning that it has been unlocked, and then 10 means that it has been done through remote desktop or has been done through the terminal. So we're just basically going to type it up in our search bar so we can filter it out, and we'll only have results that suggest someone had logged in. We're later gonna be saving this as an alert altogether in a bit, but basically, yeah, we're just gonna filter all our search fraud to basically look out for log on 7 and 10, and I don't know what is happening right here.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50.
Okay, so basically right here, we're just we're just picking out fields that we want to appear in our alert. And there we go. We have time, action, IP address, and etc. and all those other fun stuff. We're just going to be saving this as an alert altogether. And so basically this alert, we're saving it. It's going to look for unauthorized attempts that have been successful. And it's going to sort, it's going to just show us the fields that are going to be the time, the action, the IP address, and etc. Anyways, in order to automate this bad boy, we're going to be using Shuffle SOAR. First, we're going to be downloading a webhook so that we can integrate Splunk's capabilities into our workspace. Next, we're going to end up using Slack Node, which we didn't end up using because we were facing a lot of issues. There was some issue about the update on Shuffle's node and the actual Slack, which wasn't corresponding, so we ended up resorting to using the HTTPS webhook. And, basically the app on Shuffle SOAR was so old it couldn't keep up, so instead we ended up, after hours and hours of troubleshooting and using ChatGPT, of course, we ended up using a HTTP webhook that basically utilized the Slack's webhook, and basically all I can say that is that worked. Okay, Slack node didn't work, that was on Shuffle. HTTP node worked on Shuffle. So we're happy, everybody's happy. It was a pain in the but it is what it is. And so we're just going to be putting out the fields we want to be displayed, and just cooking right now, and it's going to give us an error for some reason. I don't know why that is. We're going to just be running this again, and boom, look at it. We finally were able to make it work after hours of trying on Slack app, and we can see our first alert notification. We're basically going to be testing with the test machine and the domain controller. As you can see, test machine does end up showing up on our Slack, and we're going to be setting up an email node so that the SOC analyst gets the email and then allows or disallows the appropriate user who's trying to get in. And then we're also going to be using the Microsoft node that's actually responsible for disabling or enabling the user who's trying to get in. So this node is basically going to provide us the functionality for us to have, for that to happen. And we're basically going to be creating a new user just for test case scenario. And the user I've decided to name is going to be Alex Pereira.
Chama ou não chama?
Não chama. Não chama? Hã? Hã?
Yep, there we go. So basically we're just going to set up the password and all that stuff, and we're going to give it domain admin access. So this guy is the goat of the goat, has all the access, is the daddy of all computers. He can, access our domain controller anytime. Alright, once again we ran into so many issues. The fix here was that we had to include Alex's account name on the account name field, and if you run it again, it's a success. And same thing when we're doing the disable user. So we're gonna set up another Slack node just to confirm that the user has been disabled, which after we disable it, we'll just get an alert notification on Slack saying that. As you can see, when I logged on with Alex, it shows up on my Splunk Enterprise, meaning that the account is actually existing and works. So Alex Pereira, the goat of all goats, is still there. And if we try to run this whole workflow again, we can see that, okay, we're getting Slack notifications. Alex is gonna pop up pretty soon. There we go, Alex pops up. We're getting the emails. Okay, so we're gonna be getting an email asking if you want to disable the user. So we're just gonna press false, we don't want to disable them. And then if you refresh, Alex Pereira is still up. There's no down arrow, no alert notification, nothing like that. So we're still good. Alex Pereira is still in check. His account is still there. We're in another email. We're gonna say yes, we want to disable it. So we're basically gonna copy this link and paste it over there, and then Alex Pereira should be knocked out, and we can see, boom, we get an alert notification right there. And if you refresh, down arrow has appeared. Alex Pereira is down. Okay, so I'm gonna try to log in with Alex's account on another laptop, and so We're gonna enter the password, and it says the account has been disabled. So as you can see, we cannot get in.